Hey everyone, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we are going to completely transform how you approach speaking a new language. Seriously, if you've ever felt stuck, nervous, or just completely tongue-tied when you try to speak English, this action-oriented workshop is exactly what you need. Today, we're breaking down the actual mechanics of true English fluency, all inspired by the super effective 30-day challenge framework from SpeakUp sessions. We're going to systematically reduce that speaking anxiety, stop you from transiting in your head, and build some real, practical speaking confidence. So get ready because we're doing this together. So here is our roadmap for today. First, overcoming the speaking barrier. Then we'll get into our core tool, the shadowing technique. After that, we'll apply it to real-life situations, load up your toolkit with essential vocabulary, and finally, wrap it all up with 5 tips for confidence. Let's get going. All right, section 1, overcoming the speaking barrier, or why your mind just completely goes blank. We really need to start by acknowledging a super common, universal frustration here. You probably know the grammar rules, you can watch movies in English, and you know plenty of vocabulary, right? But as our source material perfectly captures, you understand English, you know hundreds of words, but when someone talks to you, you freeze. I really want to validate exactly how you're feeling right now. Fear, shyness, forgetting words in the heat of the moment, these are incredibly common challenges. They are absolutely not personal failures. Literally, almost every language learner on the planet goes through this. The problem isn't your intelligence, The problem is just how you've been practicing. And this perfectly illustrates what needs to flip in your brain. First, we have the perfection mindset. This is where you're obsessively focusing on grammar, living in constant fear of making mistakes, and totally exhausting yourself by translating every single word in your head before you speak. But over on the other side, we have where we want to be, the communication mindset. This focuses on human connection, embracing your mistakes as learning tools, and just allowing yourself to speak naturally. So the absolute core philosophy to remember is this: fluency isn't perfection. Fluency is communication. I mean, native speakers make mistakes all the time. We just need to get you comfortable communicating. Okay, moving on to section 2, the shadowing technique. Basically, your bridge between thinking and speaking. So to break you out of that perfection mindset, we need a real practical tool. And shadowing is exactly that. It's designed to bridge that incredibly frustrating gap between thinking in your native language and speaking out loud in English. It's simply the act of listening to a sentence and repeating it immediately out loud to build automatic speaking habits. What's actually fascinating about the psychology here is that by forcing this immediate listen and repeat action, you literally don't give your brain the time to translate back into your native language. You're forcing your brain to process English and immediately produce English. It's building muscle memory in your mouth and creating these automatic pathways in your brain. Let's actually do a really quick high-energy shadowing practice right now. I'm going to say a powerful affirmation from our source, and I want you to repeat it immediately out loud wherever you are. You ready? I am not afraid of making mistakes. Did you do it? Okay, let's say it one more time. I am not afraid of making mistakes. That is shadowing. It's so simple, but when you do it repeatedly, it completely transforms your speaking confidence. Section 3, Real-Life English Situations, Applying Shadowing to the Real World. Now, in this practical workshop phase, we're going to see how the sentences you practice through shadowing actually prep you for everyday interactions. Let's break down a real-life scenario. Ordering food at a restaurant. Notice how beautifully simple these steps are. Greet the host. Request a drink by just saying, "Can I have water?" Ask for time by saying, "I need a few more minutes, please." It is so easy to overcomplicate things in our heads, but simple, polite phrases like these keep the whole interaction completely natural. You really don't need a complex, multi-clause sentence just to order a glass of water, right? You just need clear practice communication. Let's walk through a second scenario. Say you're lost in a new city and need to ask a stranger for help. Just say "excuse me" to politely get their attention. Clearly state your goal by saying, "I'm looking for the train station," and then confirm the directions they give you by repeating them back. Go straight, then turn left. Once again, the goal here is effective communication, not flawless textbook grammar. If you use these basic sentences, get your answer, and find the train station, your English was an absolute success. Section 4, Essential Vocabulary for Fluency. These are the words you're going to use every single day. We're going to do a quick-fire vocabulary section now to simulate the rhythm of active shadowing. So as we go through these core words, I really encourage you to read the examples out loud to practice your pronunciation. First up, Practice. It means doing something again and again to get better. For example, I practice English every day. Next, improve means to get better. I want to improve my English skills. Then, confident means you believe in yourself. I feel confident when I speak English. And fluent, which means speaking easily and smoothly. I want to be fluent in English. Remember, speaking these definitions and examples out loud right now is what actually builds that memory. Moving right along through our vocabulary, we have mistake, which is an error. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. We have repeat, meaning to say something again. Can you repeat that, please? We have conversation, when people talk to each other. I like having conversations in English. And finally, challenge, something difficult but exciting. This challenge will help me improve. I actually want to pause and focus on that word mistake for a second. Remember, a mistake is simply a teacher. Seriously, if you aren't making mistakes, you just aren't practicing enough.
Section 5, 5 Tips for Confidence. This is your blueprint for lasting success.
So here are 5 practical, actionable rules to make sure you stay motivated and keep improving long after this explainer is over. Number 1, speak daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Talk to yourself if you have to. Number 2, stop translating in your head. Number 3, make mistakes and learn from them. Number 4, listen actively to English content. And number 5, be patient with yourself. I really want to highlight tip number 2 for a second. When you see a dog walking down the street, do not think of your native word for it first. Just look at the animal and immediately think the English word dog. Bypassing that internal translation step is an absolute game changer. It'll make you a dramatically faster and more fluent speaker. And all of this leads us to the magic number, 30. The source material we analyzed today is built entirely around a 30-day challenge. So why 30 days? Well, because daily consistency over a month is how you actually rewire your brain. Fluency doesn't magically happen in a single day, but practicing these shadowing techniques for 30 consecutive days, that will lead to massive, noticeable improvements in your ability to speak comfortably and naturally. Consistency is for sure the real secret here. So I want to leave you with a final, provocative challenge right now. Can you speak 10 sentences out loud today? Seriously, don't wait for tomorrow. Immediately apply what you've learned. Look around the room you're in, describe what you see out loud, or just repeat the shadowing sentences we practiced today. Take that leap, make those mistakes, and start building your confidence right this second. You've absolutely got this. Keep practicing, and thank you so much for joining me for today's explainer.